Okay, we're live. NASGW 2018 from the Steel City, Pittsburgh. Actually, that is the Michael's stomping grounds, one of our operators back here. He was really excited to get down here. But in front of me, I've got Ryan from Federal Ammunition, Caliber Award winning Federal Ammunition for the 22 Valkyrie. Tell us a little bit about the Caliber Award winner, and were you a little bit shocked last night to win it, or were you like, nah, we got this?
Yeah. No, we were really excited to win the award, honored to have to win that Caliber Award for the 224 Valkyrie. And we had our TSS turkey loads up for the award also, which was also a really good launch. So I guess it could have gone either way, but we're really happy that we got it for the 224.
You really wanted this one.
Yeah.
Because the TSS loads, I mean, I shot them this year, loved them, performed great. But I don't think anything's caught on like the 224 Valkyrie. And I know a lot of our guys out there, you know, you look at the progression of ammunition, and the 224 Valkyrie just exploded. And that's kind of what you guys anticipated, right?
Yeah, it's what it's actually it did surpass our expectations. But if you look back on how we launched it, I mean, it does make sense. And one of the big things with the launch of the Caliber and why it was successful, why it is successful, is, you know, working with our partners in the industry, especially on the firearms side, and getting our firearms partners behind the Caliber, the idea of the Caliber, getting them excited about it, so that when we were able to launch the ammo, we had firearms that were already on the market. And I think that's been a crux for, you know, either Calibers or firearms launches. Is you may have ammo and no guns, or you may have guns and no ammo, and that's just not a good recipe.
That's a problem. That's a big problem. So let's turn the clock back. Let's turn the clock back a couple of years ago and talk about the development of the 224 Valkyrie and where that really started. Were you guys in the background going, well, you know, we've got the 30 Remington, we know that needs improvement. We've got the 6.8 millimeter SPC that needs improvement. Do you guys start there, or how did you guys really start developing the 224 Valkyrie?
Yeah. I got to give this one to our new product development engineers. And you know, there's a lot in guns and ammunition. You know, the development always a lot of times will come out of either you know, a current caliber that is modified or improved upon, or it's you know, some successes that you had in just like that free thinking that you get a really good team of engineers and just starting to throw around ideas and that kind of thing. And this is kind of a blend of the two. We do a lot of military contract work, and had a big contract in the 6.8 world for several years, and then so we had that baseline, and so they had a lot of the engineers and production had a lot of experience with that caliber, and they kind of took it from there and said, I wonder what we could do with this, and really started that free thinking, allowed them just to do some crazy thinking, started putting some things together, and the result is 224 Valkyrie. Right.
And we were actually talking about, you know, right before we came on about, you know, can you recall a caliber that actually, you know, we hear a lot of them die off, but we don't hear a lot of them sticking now lately. Maybe that's because of, you know, the loads that are already developed are so solid that there's not a lot of innovation out there. But really, I mean, what have you seen in the past 10, 15 years that really has stuck, and how does the Valkyrie compare to that?
Yeah. And I think the obvious one that a lot of people would come to mind would be 6.5 Creedmoor, and that caliber, great caliber, still is probably the fastest growing caliber. I would put that in 224 Valkyrie in that same world. But the 6.5 took, you know, a decade to really get its legs under it and get manufacturers both on the firearm side and the ammunition side to really embrace that. You know, Valkyrie getting to where it's at as quickly as it has, I think, like I said, I think it's a testament to ammunition manufacturers, not just Federal, but other companies that liked the idea and got on board with manufacturing the ammo and working with those firearms manufacturers to make sure that there's a variety of product and options out there for the consumer. And I think that's probably why the single reason why it's been adopted as quickly as it has.
Right. And for all you guys out there, if you've got questions for Ryan about the 224 Valkyrie, please chime in. I'm doing my best right now to monitor Facebook and YouTube comments. So just bear with me a little bit. I'll get to those. But Ryan, now Federal offers 4 offerings right now. And you guys are looking at stuff from all aspects, from the hunting world to the competition world, to the personal defense world. What are you guys offering now, and where do you go from here?
Sure. I think another thing too with launching a product is you put out one flavor in that caliber, and people get not that they get bored with it, but everybody likes to have options. So I think launching 4 options initially, so a standard FMJ style round, a long range round in the Sierra Match King, and then a couple different hunting versions in the Fusion and the ballistic tip as well. It was a good platform to launch from. Kind of gave everybody something. And then coming out this year, actually, at the NASGW show, we just introduced 3 new offerings in a Barnes TSX, a Hornady VMAX,
really,
and a Burger Hybrid. So we're taking that long range competitive market where Valkyrie really sits well in the Sierra Match King, and we're adding another option in the Burger. And then that Barnes TSX would be a great round for small or medium-sized
medium-sized game. Yeah, I would say I think deer hunting, that's my initial reaction to go, but I mean, this is a round that really competes against a lot of like quick rounds. I mean, you're talking up to what, 3,000 feet per second coming out of the muzzle. I mean, so for the guys out there that aren't aware of the 224 Valkyrie, could you give us some of the specs behind it and what makes it so special?
Sure. So I think where it really shines is it is the first caliber to be offered in an MSR 15 platform that does a couple things. One is it's supersonic out to 1,300 meters, and that's the first cartridge in that platform that can do that. And what that gives you is just longer range accuracy. When your bullet drops below that supersonic level, it starts to do things you don't want bullets to do, and it degrades your accuracy. The other thing is in other calibers that are in the MSR platform, it's a lot flatter shooting. These heavy 224 bullets are long, and so they have a high ballistic coefficient, and that just helps with drag on the bullet and just gives it a lot flatter shooting capability versus other calibers in that platform. And then the third thing I would say is recoil. If you compare it to, say, 6.5, it's about half the recoil, and so just pleasant to shoot, a great long-range cartridge, very accurate. Well,
where I see this applied in a lot of what I do is youth hunting. Is I think this is going to be a fantastic round for youth hunters. And when you start talking about introducing youth hunters with less recoil, but maintaining effective knockdown power, I think that's where you start to really shine, and the 224 Valkyrie is really starting to take off. I don't know, you got any hunts coming up?
Yeah,
that you're going to take this, right? You're going to take the 224 Valkyrie, because with an MSR platform, quick follow-up shots, less recoil, right?
Yep. Yeah, we got quite a few. I haven't specifically hunted with the Valkyrie, shot a bunch of targets with it, but there's a lot of people that work at Federal that now this is their go-to deer rifle. Because,
really?
Like you said, with an MSR, quick follow-up shots, it's great for introducing younger hunters or recoil-sensitive hunters into the caliber.
Are you finding a lot of? Are you seeing this more in the PRS world? Are you seeing a lot of guys take this out to the professional rifle series? Are you seeing a lot of guys starting to use this because of the less recoil and the ballistics of it?
Yep, I would say that's probably the recoil is probably the biggest factor that plays into people adopting that caliber for that sport, because just if you're putting to be able to see point of impact, is huge for those guys.
Really?
Because it just, of course, reduces the amount of time if they have to adjust it. They're not trying to, okay, I think I caught where it hit. They see where it hit in the scope, and that's a big thing for them. And so I'd say the recoil is probably one of the biggest advantages on that. On that side.
Well, and you guys, Federal Ammunition is under the big Vista umbrella, the Vista Outdoors, and so you guys have Savage too, and they've started coming up with some new stuff, and that makes the performance of the 224 Valkyrie even that more impressive. So when are these going to be available, the new ones?
Sure.
When are we going to have those available to us, like the TSS?
Yep. So we're working with all those bullet manufacturers on lead times and everything. The cool thing about the partnerships we have with these great bullet manufacturers is because of the success of 224 Valkyrie, because of the capability of the cartridge itself, they're actually designing bullets specific for 224 Valkyrie. It's not just a 224 off the shelf. So Berger's doing a specific bullet for the 224 Valkyrie. Sierra's updating the 90 grade Match King and actually catering that to specifically to this caliber. So it'll be a separate bullet that's not just a standard 224. So working with those guys is really cool because they can get really specific. They can make something that is just for us. But the other thing I would say is we're seeing, and at the show here, I think 2 different rifle manufacturers have introduced bolt guns for it.
Yeah.
And so we're going to be working to get the ammo out, those new loads out January, February timeframe, working with those bullet manufacturers. But we're also really excited about the bolt guns that are coming onto the market because I think it just opens the caliber up more to the hunting scene because not every hunter wants to shoot an MSR. There's bolt guys out there.
There are bolt guys out there, and LJ actually had a comment. He says, I don't hunt. My main area of consumer input is for self-defense rounds, and you guys offer that. I mean, so there's something out there in the 224 Valkyrie for everyone, and I don't care what you guys say. The 224 Valkyrie is here to stay.